Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host, Caliban, and dearly beloved, we are gathered here today together to say goodbye to your favorite long-haired, astrology-loving, got a taste for the younger kind.
Oh, boy.
Beautiful epaulets. He's a complicated guy. This is a complicated episode.
It is. And we're a couple magical people ready to moon, prism, power, make up this episode. Sailor Noob is a part of the Just Enough Trope Network. Today we are talking about episode number 24. Naru-chan Gokyu Nephrite ai no shi in Japanese. Naru's Tears, Nephrite Dies for Love, the English translation. And the English title, A Friend in Wolf's Clothing.
It's not bad.
Yeah, not
Somebody
bad.
got fired. Somebody else took over. Has always wanted to do it.
Yeah.
We'll do it for a while. Burn out. Get a divorce. And also quit. But for now,
we're doing okay.
It's sweet.
Yes.
Welcome back to Dark Kingdom Crystal.
I know, right?
This is just a Dark Kingdom show now.
Is there anything you want to talk about before we get into our breakdown?
Well, as we've talked about before, I don't love the Naru subplot.
Yes.
I know it's important to this series or season or whatever you want to call it, the show. And I was just complaining about episodes that went nowhere.
Yeah.
As listeners will remember, every time I go, is this all it's going to be?
Yes.
And are we bottoming out again?
Yeah.
We come right back up.
Uh-huh.
But we've come back up into, like we said, a complicated place.
Yeah.
What we're doing here. And I'm not sure. I'm glad that the show, actually I should be glad, I guess, that the show is developing emotional complexity. But whoever thought it would come like this?
I know.
And I also think that it would pay off a lot harder if they had made Naru more important
throughout the season.
This,
yes, I agree with you. Yeah.
You get this a lot in longer, like, comic books or like those CW shows. We can only afford to show Barry Allen running really fast for like a minute 45 in the episode.
Right.
So that means that we're going to... Iris is going to be around a lot talking about something.
Yeah.
And some days it's good, some days it's bad. But, she's like a part of that show.
Right.
She's like another hand on that show. But Naru's just kind of like there when we have a jewelry-related problem.
It's true.
Or we need another girl to get sucked into a camera.
Mm-hmm.
And, and to make her so pivotal, I think is cool. But we could have built up to it a little better.
Yeah. No, I agree.
In the manga... How do we do? Because I know there's more padding. There's more material in the show.
Yes.
Is Naru important in the manga?
Well, I have to actually get back to you on that because I read the manga a long time ago and I don't remember it as well as I used to. And like things are kind of told in a somewhat different order. So I haven't gotten to the Nephrite Naru part of the manga.
Okay. But I mean, like,
it does exist.
Right, but even before their meeting and their connection, like, is she...
She's introduced as Usagi's best friend.
So no.
So I mean...
This is the most material she's getting in the series.
More or less, yes.
Okay, I had a feeling.
Yeah, but it's kind of too bad, I mean, you asked last episode, like, why can't they tell her their secret?
Yeah.
And I think they probably would love to, but then, like... I think they're worried about the bad guys finding out. And
plus, it's weird, too, when, like, your work friends and your school friends meet, and then suddenly it's like your brain has to sort of merge those two circles. It'd just be weird.
Well, you actually bring up a good point, because I know Ami goes to the same school. I think she's technically in a different class than Naru and Usagi. But Rei goes to a different school, and I'm actually trying to rack my brain. Have Rei and Naru met on screen?
I start talking like, what do I do? And Rei's like, who is this person?
Right. Well, I guess Rei is aware of her, at least. I don't know if Naru knows who Rei is, though. So, yeah. But you bring up a good point. I wish Naru was more a part of the story than she is.
Yeah.
So.
Well, she's a part of it now.
Yes, she is.
Big way.
Yes, she is. without further ado, would you like to give us a breakdown of the show?
Yes. An air hangs over this entire episode. This is a very, I don't want to say downbeat because that seems to make a judgment on it. I don't, but it is less ebullient. Nobody's running late to school in this episode.
Right.
And it begins on the playground, presumably at school. Usagi and Naru are there, and Usagi's telling Naru to forget Mr. Sanjoin. Now we know that this is a bad situation.
Yep.
But Naru says that she can't, and she points out that, you love someone too, Usagi, so you know how it feels.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, Motoki never tried to kidnap me and steal jewelry from my mom, but
right.
Similar.
Same.
Similar. Meanwhile, Nephrite is chilling at Creep House and sitting on a throne. I mean, if it's your house, you gotta have a throne, right?
I guess.
And he's wondering why the black crystal responded like it did to Naru. There's too many crystals in the show. And he's asking himself, what is love?
What is love?
Okay. Just want to make sure we all got it. He realizes that he does a little bit of logic here, and he realizes that Sailor Moon knew Naru's name. So maybe Naru knows who Sailor Moon is.
Yes.
See?
Yeah.
Hit him at home.
Yeah.
Get that gun. Come back out. So all through this, while he's sitting on his throne, Zoisite, this guy needs a better security system. Zoisite is just chilling behind a pillar, watching the whole thing, and he's like, ooh, I need that black crystal to get the silver crystal.
Yes.
Because there's too many crystals in this show.
I know.
You should name the show Crystal. And that night at Shei Osaka, Nephrite appears outside of Naru's bedroom and sees her sleeping. Totally fine.
Yeah, I know.
The black crystal is glowing again, which is like a bad name for the crystal then, I guess, if it's going to glow all the time. And he wonders if the silver crystal could be something inside the human body. Whoa! Back it up. Back it up. Back up. And it gets weird. He sort of X-rays her, through her clothes, and he sees her entire naked body lying there sleeping.
Makes me very uncomfortable.
And he's like, nope, not in her body. So I guess the men of the Dark Kingdom are built differently.
I guess
I know he doesn't understand love, but he doesn't understand lust either.
Apparently not.
So
no.
maybe she's safe with this guy who wants her energy and her soul.
And is hiding in her bedroom.
Right. At least we'll avoid that pregnancy scare. And she wakes up after this happens, and he tells her the truth. He says that I'm really Nephrite, but she's taught him what love is. And the Dark Kingdom's not big on love, but you changed my life, and I want to, maybe I should be joining Sailor Moon and fighting the Dark Kingdom.
Uh-huh.
So please tell me all about her. And again, that's 75% true here.
Yeah.
Because we do get his inner thoughts, but even he does not, what is this love?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't understand what's happening to him. I think he already kind of has these feelings for her.
Yes.
So it's mostly true, but it's all for a negative outcome, which is to find out, who Sailor Moon is. And Naru's like, I don't know anything about her. She just shows up. I pass out, and that's it. So he disappears, and she's sad, but he's not really gone. He's hiding behind the curtains. This time she can't see him through them, I guess.
I know.
And he's going to track her in case she goes to Sailor Moon. He's watching her. Meanwhile, across the street on top of another building, Zoisite has been watching all of this from his vantage point.
Yeah, I know.
And he's like, you fell in love with a woman. It's classic. And it's weird because, we've got things to learn in the future episodes, I guess, but clearly Zoisite understands love because he's in love with Kunzite.
Uh-huh.
So,
right.
Again, I don't know if these guys are like Jadeite, like we talked before about how maybe he was like a junior cadet bad guy and he was trying to get his wings or his epaulets or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Maybe at higher levels here, you have access to more emotionality or more complex relationships.
I think it's an interesting theory.
All of his leaping over chain link fences and driving his Ferrari around, he doesn't understand love.
This is
He's
true.
He's got the hair, he's got the jawline, he's got everything. He's just a statue.
Yeah.
And he looks over. It's just the camera keeps panning right.
I know.
He looks over to a weird-looking trio of girls who have pointy ears.
Yep.
And who I guess are like his personal monsters, or maybe they're Dark Kingdom IA, Internal Affairs. Because they're kind of in on. He's like, this guy, he broke the laws or whatever. And they're like, we're gonna take him down.
Yeah.
So this is like Charlie's Devils here.
Right.
And Naru, because she's dumb, is like, I have to find Sailor Moon. So she calls Usagi, cut to Sakino house.
Yes.
Middle of the night. Usagi, stumbles to the phone. And she says, Mr. Sanjoin's looking for Sailor Moon. I have to find her. And I love the double dramatic irony here. Because he thinks that he's going to track her. She's lying. She's going to contact Sailor Moon.
Right.
She's contacting Sailor Moon, but doesn't know that she's contacting Sailor Moon.
Yes.
And so he's still going to kind of get what he wants. And in the meantime, Usagi's like, what, you're talking to Nephrite? Stop talking to Nephrite.
Right.
Stop it.
Right.
Usagi and Luna immediately are running to help Naru out. They're booking it. Get an Uber or get one of those little taxis, with a motorcycle with a cab on the back.
Yeah.
She's just running down the street with Luna. And they get hit by a real psychedelic freak out, man. Suddenly everything is starting to swirl. The streets of Dystopia look all weird.
Yes.
And she wastes no time transforming. Our first pre-commercial transformation.
I know.
She is Sailor Moon now. And Nephrite appears and says, LOL, got your identity. Nice job.
Right.
And she's like, well, you don't have to tell anybody. You don't have to tell anybody. And he's like, it's not going to matter. You're going to be dead. He starts making with the power balls. He's got her totally cornered, but a rose sinks into the concrete. You know what time it is?
Yes.
It is Tuxedo Mask time. And Nephrite, he's going to square off against TM and SM, but he hears Naru, call to him?
Yeah. Which is weird. I didn't know he had that ability.
Well, he's got a lot of abilities.
That's true.
He can strip a girl's clothes off.
Oh, boy.
He can pass through curtains that are already waving in the wind and are open, but he phases through them.
Right.
So he's got a split. He gets out of there. Cut to Naru's house. We see that she's being kidnapped by one of the three weirdos. And Luna's still there. or maybe she ran ahead. That's right. There was a thing in the thing where she's like, slow down. But Luna must have got out of there before she missed the Tuxedo Mask action. And she's like, I got to call the Sailor Warriors. This is bad news.
Yes.
Nephrite gets to Naru's room, sees that the weirdo left a note that says, exchange crystal for girl, basically.
Yeah.
And he thinks, who cares about that girl? But he sees her in his mind, the beautiful Naru running towards him.
Yes.
And he crushes the letter in his hand and it starts aflame. It burns in his hand.
Yes.
Who indeed?
Yeah, I know, right? And I think he refers to the person who wrote it as one of Zoisite's minions.
All right. Across town in an abandoned bar called Ragtime?
I know.
And it has stained glass windows?
What is going on?
How did this place go out of business? Want to go there. The three weirdos have Naru strung up. Just kidding. This is weird. This is all weird. Nephrite shows up and they attack him. One throws these little marbles that explode. It's like fireballs, literally. And the other one kind of just makes sound waves or something.
Yes.
We don't know. And then one's got a tree arm. And it occurs to me, we have to go back through, but it's like recycling. Are these made from the parts of other blown up Yoma or something? These all seem like
see what you're
recycled
about.
Gimmicks. He wipes the floor with them. So that was never going to be a problem, I guess. He frees Naru and he tells her that he's not sure why he saved her.
Yeah.
He's sorry for lying to her. But he is the way he is.
Right.
And he can't promise he won't keep lying to her. And she says, that's okay. Red flag.
Oh,
got
my
a red
God.
flag
I
here.
know. Couple of them.
Anybody got a red flag?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not great.
Yeah.
But that's what we got. Nephrite is hurt. He was hurt in the exchange. So as they are leaving, they make it to a park or something, and she makes him take his jacket off by epaulets.
Yes.
And she binds his wound with some cloth that she rips from her pajamas.
Yes.
It's weird.
It is weird.
Also, they have blood. He has blood and stuff. It's green blood.
Yes.
But they have bodies, I guess, physical bodies with organs and stuff.
Yes.
She tells him about the chocolate parfaits in Sanchome.
Yes.
Which, when your girlfriend is like, I like ice cream. Maybe there's too big of an age gap. Maybe. But he says, I like ice cream. I like it. And she says he's lying. But sometimes you can lie out of love.
Or kindness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good payoff to the earlier thing, but let me just go on Amazon here and order some more red flags. And she's like, we can go get a parfait together. Does the evil organization give you Sundays off?
Which is such a great line.
I don't know if she was doing a bit or not.
I don't think she was trying to be funny.
It's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's also a double meaning there because Sundays and parfaits.
Good point.
Wouldn't work in Japanese probably, but And so they're having a laugh when they're ambushed by the tree weirdo, and he is impaled by her tree arm.
Yes.
And she leaves like these like thorns inside of him.
Mm-hmm.
But I say thorns, but it's like, sticks, like arrows or something like that he's impaled with.
Yes.
It's grisly. And they say, okay, give Crystal now or she's dead.
Right.
And he tries to send her away, but she refuses, and she tries to pull the thorns out. Mm-hmm. And the bad guys are like, you can't. You're too weak to pull them out, human.
Yes.
And she's getting shocked as she's trying to like pull these things out, but they're sort of starting to come out.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the implication. Like yeah. So the fireball weirdo's like, screw it, fireballs, and just hits him with fireballs. And Nephrite shields Naru while they blow up. Mm-hmm. And then Zoisite shows up. He arrives to take possession of the black crystal. Too many crystals.
Yes.
And he says, enjoy your death. And the weirdos move in to finish them off, but the Sailor Warriors arrive. It's a 3-on-3 throwdown.
Yeah.
Welcome to the jam. We're going to slam. Everybody gets in their opening threats because you have to.
Yep.
We got some Shaban sprays. That stops the fireballs. And we do another fiery MTA.
Yes.
And nails them all three somehow because the episode's over.
I know.
It would have been cool if it went like, they all scattered and then it went thoop, 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 and like caught all three of them.
Oh, yeah. Like kind of like maybe like Yondu's like thing with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm Sailor Moon, y'all. Nephrite is looking basic sailor. It's cool. Nephrite is looking bad. Not going to get that chocolate parfait, it seems like.
Yeah.
And the bummer version of Moonlight Densetsu plays.
Yes.
As Nephrite dissolves. No funeral. Bury his epaulets with honors. It's sad.
It is very sad. Yeah, that was a really good breakthrough.
Don't know how to feel.
Yeah, a lot of mixed feelings, I feel like, with this episode, and emotions that are going on. I mean, we can talk about this a little bit later too, but I think the Sailor Scouts have mixed feelings about it as well.
Well, when he when he dies, they're like, oh no, oh no, he died.
Right.
We'll have to go back through, but there's a body count off of this guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good question. Does anybody actually die in any of these things?
I think the Yoma do.
Well, yeah, of course the Yoma do. The Sailor Warriors are the only murderers here. But
yeah.
When a groundskeeper goes crazy and sends like bulldozers after people, like somebody's got to die, right?
I guess. Yeah. That's a good question.
I guess it's like a G.I. Joe situation. They've all got parachutes when the planes blow up.
Right. Exactly. We just don't see them.
Your Honor, a courtroom is a crucible. In it we burn away irrelevancies until we are left with a pure product, the truth, for all time.
Oh man, this is so intense. Data's on trial for his life.
I know. This episode, The Measure of a Man, is based on the Supreme Court's Dred Scott decision of 1857.
And every week on Backtracking, we take a look at the real-world events that inspired classic Star Trek episodes. Sorry. Shut up! Shh.
Who are you?
We're the hosts of Backtracking. I'm Caliban.
You will both be taken to the brig and from there to the nearest starbase, where you will answer charges for what you have done.
And I'm Gooey Fame.
This is not a game. This is life and death.
You can follow us on Twitter.
Backtracking is available wherever you listen to podcasts.
You go f*** yourself.
For Kyoro Miru, Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, I thought we could talk about dating in Japan. So typically...
You're going to pull dating out?
Yes, I am.
For this?
For this, yeah.
Why not age gap dating?
I wanted to talk about age gap dating, but as I talked about a little bit last episode,
buying panties out of vending machines.
Yeah, all right. I could have talked about a lot of other really weird kind of side.
I was going to look it up, but I didn't want that in my search suggestions.
No, you don't. That's all you need to know.
That's an incognito for sure.
That it exists, and it's weird and gross. But yeah. So typically speaking, a confession of one's feelings usually comes before a couple starts dating. This is called kokuhaku in Japanese.
Oh, I love this. This is when you take them up to the roof of the school, right?
Yes, which translates to interest and or confession of love. This is, as you were mentioning, it's very prevalent in anime and manga. You see this all the time.
But I'm guessing just because of emulation and culture, it probably happens. I don't know if it ever happened in real life before anime, but I bet it like happens in anime or real life now.
On the roof and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, probably.
He says he wants to go up to the roof.
Yeah.
During fifth period.
Yeah, right? No, I bet it does happen. And like I know that the classes, like they take turns, classrooms of students, they take turns like cleaning the school. Like that's a cultural thing that they do. So I'm sure there's a lot of confession that happens during that as well. So yeah, it's very important that this happens up front before you start dating.
I mean, this all used to happen.
Right.
Nobody has sex in Japan anymore.
Whoa. That's another.
We got to find ways to. We'll find a way to talk about that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're hiding from me some more adult content in the later episodes of Sailor Moon, but we'll find a way to talk about sex in the future.
Sure.
Here's something I'll put this on the list that I want to talk about. I don't know how you're going to fit it in.
Okay.
You'll make it work. I want to talk about like the dating sites or whatever, or like the video chat stuff.
Oh.
Where, like video. First of all, there's like clubs, like hostess clubs.
Yes.
And then there's also like video. I'm getting all my knowledge comes from the Yakuza game series, but I know it's real.
Are you talking about like dating idols or something like that, like cartoon idols? Or
Ooh, we can put that on the list too.
And
body pillow, and we got it.
Yep. There's lots of strange stuff.
Are you harshing their vibe? Are you yucking some yum here?
Maybe. I'm not trying to. So I was just going to say, it's really important that you get your feelings out at the beginning of the relationship, because at least
I guess it would be.
I know, but like in the West, it's really common to, go on a
swipe
couple
right.
Right. Or go on a couple of dates with somebody and be like, oh, this isn't working out, or like go on a couple of dates. What?
AniDate. I just
AniDate?
invented AniDate.com. There's an app. You sign up. You don't have to put your picture.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I don't know how we're going to go away with that. Maybe you could like anime your real picture, make your eyes bigger.
I see.
But they still see your dirty room.
Blue hair.
And then you choose, we gotta have blue hair.
Yeah.
And then you can choose like your fandom, right? So it's like, I like
sure. Pokemon or something.
Pokemon. I like ninja fantasy anime.
Sure.
I like sci-fi anime.
Right. I like sports anime.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay. I think it could work for sure.
AniDate.
AniDate.
We can top that.
Okay. Well, I think that's a work in progress. But whereas like, you could maybe have feelings for somebody when you're dating somebody in the West, but you don't tell them right away.
Otaku kukichu.
Okay, that's pretty good.
No. That's the Japanese Beatles website. I meant otaku kuchi ku.
All right, I think it's doable. I think you should do it.
No, let's go back to the first one.
Oh, okay.
Animated walrus is the mascot. He's waving at you.
I like it.
Otaku kukachu.
Yeah. So I guess it's just really important in Japan that you let the other person know how you're feeling. Otherwise, the other person may not know that you're dating. So that could be weird.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah, but I guess it's really important that you let the person know before you start dating, because I guess it's really.
But how are you gonna? Are we talking about children?
Yeah.
How are you gonna be like halfway through a plate of spaghetti bolognese and be like, "Oh my God, who's this person now?"
Well, no, you're not.
Across from me.
But apparently in Japan, it's very common to go out to lunch or coffee with a friend, and not expect anything, that any romantic feelings will come from it. So, yes. So, and it's not a gender specific role. Whoever wants to confess their feelings first, that's totally cool. To be male or female, what have you. Sure. And there's sometimes there's a little bit of a language thing too, like in the Japanese phrase Suki-des can be translated in English as both I like you and I love you. So in English, there's a huge difference between like and love, but in Japanese, there isn't really that distinction. So there can be somewhat of a cultural breakdown on that. There has been an overall decline in dating in recent years in Japan, which you basically mentioned. Both men and women work really long hours at their jobs, and there isn't a lot of time to go on dates. Another factor that many believe is to blame to the decline of dating is Japan's very large sex industry, which I don't really want to go super into with our show being much PG, but yes.
Well, I mean, I just did this on Enterprising Individuals. You can do this PG.
Okay. All right. Then we'll figure out a way to do that at another time. Because there's a lot to cover. In Japan...
We'll have a whole Patreon series about that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Sailor Noob Nights.
I like it. In Japan, Gokon or group dating is very typical. It allows you to get to know somebody in a slightly less pressured way.
Plus you can split the karaoke room fee.
Well, absolutely. PDA, as you may or may not know, is very rare in Japan. Couples may hold hands, but that's usually all you would see when you're out in public. A lot of Japanese people consider PDAs to be impolite or rude, and they try to take into account that it's probably going to make other people around them uncomfortable. So therefore,
horny?
Well, or uncomfortable, so
Dear
they don't want to do
listeners,
that.
You'll never believe what happened on the train. Okay, so all right, so you declare your feelings, male, female, what have you, and then you. Oh, now we're dating.
Right.
So
now we're dating.
See you Friday?
Yeah, and you go out
with
and
all
do
of our friends
dates.
on the train.
You could go
Careful.
on group dates, or you could just go out just the two of you.
I just remember the confession scene. I don't think it was on the roof from Rinda Rinda Rinda.
Oh yeah,
which is a great movie. If people haven't seen
great
that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should see that movie. But yeah, that's like, isn't it was it the Korean girl? The guy really likes the Korean girl.
I think so.
By Duna, and then he's trying to confess to her, and she's like, I got a show to play, man. Come on. We're punk chicks.
Yes. Yes. So feelings besides the initial confession are not often obvious or direct among couples in Japan. Gestural communication or nonverbal communication,
like semaphore,
is very common, and understated signals are very appreciated among couples. And if that doesn't get recognized, the other person could be really upset.
Actually, I can see that.
Yeah.
I'm vibing with that.
Right. And it's, subtle gestures and that sort of thing. It's fairly common for couples to split the bill when they go out on a date.
Cool.
Meeting parents actually is usually seen that marriage is possible and the couple is really serious about each other. So it's a big deal.
But you don't unless you're knocking on the door of marriage.
Usually, yes.
Okay, all right. How much are tickets to Japan?
You thinking about going?
This is why we need AniDate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can click, I'm an actual Japanese. I really wish I was Japanese. Native chopstick user. That's
right,
you have to upload a
go.
video of you using chopsticks. Like, I don't think so. I don't think this guy can get in.
Right. Konkatsu parties are parties where individuals who are considering getting married gather and have conversations, eat a meal, and they've become really popular. And because like everybody's looking for a partner, so it's a popular thing to do. Arranged. Customary matchmaking has become popular again in recent years because a lot of people are very busy with their job and they just don't have time to look for somebody. And then also, they're vetted by somebody professional. So
yeah, I guess.
Yes.
I've given up. Help me.
Online dating exists in Japan. It's not as popular as you may think. just I think because maybe I think people seem to trust the matchmaking done by a person more than the matchmaking done online.
Okay.
And also another thing that goes into whether or not people can date is their income. Sadly, this is the first thing listed for the konkatsu questionnaires, often like the marriage party questionnaires, is about a person's yearly income. And if a woman is unemployed, there is a follow-up question asking about her parents' fiscal position.
Okay.
So I think that gets a little personal, but yeah. So
well, that's a little retro.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess
because women work a lot, and it's like
yes,
yeah. I mean, they're not really. They work.
Yes, they do. I think it's not going to be super common to find somebody who's unemployed. That's what I think.
Yeah.
But
okay. Well, interesting.
Yes.
I guess I'll just save that in my searches for Expedia. Won't be taking that trip to Japan just yet.
Okay. Itadakimasu with Usagi, where we talk about what did Usagi eat in this episode.
Who's got time to eat?
Yeah, I know. But we did talk about one very important food thing. Naru talks about Sanchome's chocolate parfaits.
Right.
And chome, it basically is part of the very complicated addresses in Japan. It means city district, and san means like third, so it's like third city district. Oh. So in the third city district, that's where this restaurant
And I imagine like Shinjuku it's not just one station, is it, right? There's probably like a couple?
I think there's the main train station. There might be a couple of other stations in there. But it's a big area. Mm. Yeah.
Okay.
She talks about how she wants to go there with Nephrite and she wants the chocolate parfaits.
Right.
I don't know how familiar people are with parfaits in Japan, but they're pretty popular. You see them advertised outside of restaurants. So they're little plastic models. So I looked up how to make a parfait if you wanted to make a parfait, a Japanese parfait. You would find a tall glass that has a large opening at the top. And there are parfait fillers, which are fresh whipped cream, some kind of sponge cake, and fresh fruit. And then you would use 1 to 2 scoops of ice cream and do alternating layers through all of that. Add some crunch, often cornflakes, cookies, or nuts work too. Mm-hmm. Sometimes cigarette cookies or Pocky.
Cigarette cookies. Let's stop on that.
Okay. Cigarette cookies are the circular cookies. They're round and very thin.
Yeah.
And they're called cigarette cookies. I tried looking up like a different name for it, but that's just what it came up.
Why not pencil cookies?
Yeah, I don't know.
Just cigarette cookies.
I know, it doesn't sound appetizing.
You have menthol.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds like you're like going to take a bite and it's going to be nicotine in your mouth, which sounds so gross.
Yeah.
Some other items that are often found are fruit jam or chocolate sauce, sometimes gelatin cubes, red sweet beans, sprinkles, or maraschino cherries are also used. And yeah, I love how Naru asks if Nephrite gets the Sundays off from the evil organization. She's just accepted that he works for an evil organization.
If he had not died, she would have been his Harley Quinn.
Yeah, you are absolutely right about that. Yeah, I did not even think about that.
She was ride or die. She was ready to go.
She was. She really was. So My Heart is a Kaleidoscope, where we talk about what the heck they're wearing in Sailor Moon. This episode, we see a lot of PJs.
Yeah.
So Naru is wearing PJs. They are orange, green, and yellow, and she has a yellow hair tie. And then we see Usagi's PJs, which I think we've seen before previously on the show, but they are pink with red piping, and then she has pink slippers with white pom-poms.
Huh.
And then Nephrite is wearing a long-sleeve purple shirt underneath his fancy jacket.
What do his PJs look like?
That's a good question. We don't see his PJs.
It's striped, He's got the little hat with the tassel on it.
Yeah, they're silk.
Epaulets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly. And then we are at a villain gauge where we rate a baddie, 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked.
You're going to have to help me with these guys.
I will. So they're more of Zoisite's Yoma.
Yeah.
And I found online that what they're called, apparently in the English version, I think, they're called the Plant Sisters, collectively.
Okay.
And their names, I don't know, they're Grape, Suzuran, and Hosenka. And they're also, I guess, known as the 3 Yoma Girls.
3 Yoma Girls.
And their names are plays on words on flowers.
Okay.
But they use different kanji to illustrate their attacks. So it's like the flower names and their attack names are kind of plays on words of each other.
They reminded me of the Fuawa.
Flower? Yeah.
From episode 15 with Mr. Tsunetachi or whatever.
Oh, I think that was Petasos?
Oh, that's right. That was, Petasos.
Yes. I see exactly what you're talking about with like the vines, the roots, whatever you want to call it.
Of little extra bits.
Yes.
And also kind of thrown together.
Yes.
And a lot of green, different colors. And
yeah.
Why are they plants?
I don't know why they're plants.
This just feels like, yes, fine, Akira. Yes, we'll use give me that. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Use this design.
I think I think somebody just was like, they're plant sisters.
We need, right.
You know,
right.
There's Zoisite minions. Who cares?
He's been working on this for a long time. Just give it to him.
I know. So there are deeper meetings for Suzuran and Hosenka, but I couldn't find anything that was deeper for Grape besides Grape. Grape is
like a grape leaf or vine
yes.
or whatever. Yeah.
So she is the purple one with the deadly vines or thorns. That's who she is. Suzuran is her name means Lily of the Valley,
which is poisonous.
Right. But by doing a play on words, could be defined as bell disturbance. So. So, like, is it some sort of kind of like sound attack, you know?
Yeah.
Or
if Zach and Screech really screw it up this time, and they call the FBI.
There we go.
Surrounding the school, we've got a
bell disturbance. I like it. So the name of her attack is Suzumidaire no Oto, which translates roughly to mean sonic disrupting screech. And she is the aqua green looking one.
Yeah.
And then Hosenka is defined as garden balsam. But the first section of her name can also be written as Hosen, which translates to artillery barrage.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
And this is probably indicating her red fireballs.
Okay, so this is just more Japanese punnery then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. And then she is, of course, the third one who's red, green, pink, and yellow.
Right.
They call Zoisite Master Zoisite, so I thought that was an interesting touch. They kidnap Naru and bring her to an abandoned restaurant called Ragtime. And I was like, what the heck is up with this Ragtime? And I looked it up, and there is and I want to emphasize, because this was made in the 90s, there is a current restaurant bar in Tokyo called Ragtime, but it is all one word. It's not rag time, like it is in the episode.
You have to fit it on the sign.
Right. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Did it have stained glass windows?
I don't think it did. I think it kind of looked more modern. Yes. So I am going to give them 3 out of 5 dark stars.
They took down a
That's
boss.
True.
You know
That's
what I mean?
true. Yeah.
So this is unoriginal of me, but I gotta give it 4, I think.
Okay.
Again, just like last week, pushed to the end mostly because they couldn't. We didn't have time. We got to do this Naru stuff. We got to do the Nephrite stuff. But yeah, I mean, they got housed by Nephrite first off, and they got back up and kidnapped a child, and they really pulled it off. And they went out real easy, but again, last 90 seconds of the episode, I don't really blame them for that.
Well, that's true.
But I can't remember what I gave Petasos. I think I kind of went down on Petasos.
I think you did.
I was like a 2.
You
know what?
2 or 3.
I'm negotiating with myself. I'll give him a 3.
Okay, that's fair. Since it is his last episode, should we talk about Nephrite just a little bit?
Yeah. I have to guess that we're not going to be seeing any other villains fall in love with little girls going forward.
I don't think so.
And that's probably for the best.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an interesting angle, and I think it gives us. I like the fact that, except for the fact that, you know, we just go down to the Dark Kingdom and everybody's standing around.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Just go get them. I'll get them. You know, for that, it's nice to get a little look into these people, and they're not just the bad guy of the week or whatever.
Right.
And any good anime would do this, would develop their bad guy just as they would develop the good guys. But I think it's cool that, you know, we see that Jadeite is clearly in over his head. He is not able to do this.
Yes.
And seeing his frustration, you know, and the flop sweat as he keeps getting beat by these girls was interesting.
He tries really hard.
Yeah, and then having Nephrite be in the situation where he's got this kind of unique angle, but he keeps getting stopped up by these girls, and this one girl in particular. And then, you know, we teach the bad guy to love. I mean, you've seen it before, but it's done pretty well here.
Yeah, it is. I do think what we've seen so far for the people of Dark Kingdom, if you find out Usagi's real identity, you're gonna die. So
well, and that's
bad news for you.
Spider-Man. Superman have that in common.
Yes, exactly.
You're Superman? You're Superman Clark Kent? Whoa, counting down the pages till this guy goes off the building.
Right, exactly. And then he tells, like, Naru, I don't really know why I rescued you, and that I may continue to lie to you. And Naru's like, that's okay. If you'll just stay close to me, I don't mind being lied to. Why? Yeah, it's gross. But then he's like protecting her in the end, and it's like really sad, and like he turns into like sparkles, bubbles, what have you, and just kind of disappears.
Maybe he goes to evil guy heaven.
There you go.
That doesn't make any sense.
If I'm gonna rate Nephrite, I'm gonna give him. Oh. And this is his overall grade.
This is his final rating.
Yes, I'm going to give him 4 out of 5 Dark Stars.
I guess it's hard because I don't know what we have to look forward to.
I understand what you're saying, yes.
But in terms of him having all this power, he's got an interesting way into it where he calls down, you know, the power of the stars, and then it seems complicated, and then he possesses a treasured item of that human, and he's manipulating the humans, and then the Yoma come out.
Yes.
And he's got a secret identity.
Yeah.
And he's got that cool car. And the epaulets. Come on, the epaulets.
I want to know.
I got to go 5.
Okay. I want to know.
You're just going to rush right past my 5.
Yeah. No, okay,
I don't
sorry.
get 5s.
Your 5 that's pretty impressive. That's actually really impressive. That says a lot.
His coworkers are on his ass, but he's not letting that get to him. In fact, in this episode, I think, Zoisite like taunts him or something, and he's like, I can't believe that I blew up at him. I let him
get under my
bother
skin.
me. I got to get back into this.
Right. What I want to know, and you just mentioned this, when he dies, what happens to his mansion and his car?
They must go.
Do they disappear?
Oh, if his car is evil, yes. If he just went to a dealership and bought it, it's just sitting on the side of the road somewhere.
Okay, all right,
and
fair.
hopefully somebody gets it. But
yeah, I mean, the house disappears.
The fact that he disappears, and very specifically the piece of pajamas that she used to bind his wound is still there.
Yes.
Like Yoda's blanket.
Yes.
But Yoda's... I guess we didn't really examine. Do Yoda's clothes go too?
I think
Obi-Wan's clothes don't go.
That's true.
So maybe nothing that you're wearing goes. But all of his boots, those epaulets,
yes.
I assume that they're all gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think all of his summoned things go.
Okay, that
His
makes
throne,
sense. Yeah,
his little
throne.
wine glass. There's an empty lot up in the hills of Tokyo somewhere.
That's true.
For sure.
Yes. Oh, I wanted to mention really quick in this episode, we get Sailor Mercury and Sailor Mars saying some things after they transformed. Sailor Mercury says, "Stand under a cold waterfall and reflect on your conduct."
Which is weird.
And then Mars says, "In the name of Mars, I will chastise you."
Yeah. It's like, okay, Mars, you keep trying. That's
Again.
That's
we'll
that's
go
real
again.
close to Usagi's.
Maybe try a little harder next time. Yeah. Now we are at the part where we rate a show 1 to 5 roses, 5 being the best. I am going to give this episode 3 out of 5 roses.
Okay. I'm gonna go 4.
Okay.
I know I started the episode complaining about everything and saying that it skeeved me out and stuff, but it doesn't not skeeve me out still. But the fact that every time that I criticize this show for being a little simplistic, and remember, I'm the guy that you pulled in to talk about this show who is watching Wings of Anamisi, and all these other anime that were created before anybody who's listening was born. Just all this complicated stuff for dudes, and then I'm watching okay, let's watch this girl show. And, it's emotionally complicated.
It is.
And it's coming out, once we've built the foundation, then we can put the cool house on it. Or make the house disappear, as the case might be.
Either way.
That's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got to give it a 4.
Okay, fair enough. My English title is Nephrite Does Right. Love Triumphs Evil Tonight. I made it rhyme.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That's not bad. Evil Tonight. Mine is Bad Boys for Life.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, tattoo.
On her arm.
Yes.
In a heart.
Oh, yes.
Arrow, thorn through it.
Thorn through it.
Yeah.
Better. Made it better. I like that a lot. Next episode, we are talking about episode number 25. Koisiru Kariki Shoujo, Jupiter-chan in Japanese, or Jupiter, the Powerful Girl in Love, the English translation, and the English title, Jupiter Comes Thundering In. Yes.
Okay. I have an idea
of what to expect.
What to expect.
Yeah, I know. Once again, they tell us a lot with the title, but
well, what would you do otherwise?
I know.
Because it's just going to be some monster with a fire hydrant on their head or something like that. And so you don't want people to remember it for that.
No,
you
don't.
Remember it for what it is.
That's true.
It's kind of like we're just watching Star Trek Picard, and a very famous, well-loved character shows up at like the last minute of this last episode.
Yes.
And like I was so proud of like predicting like 15 minutes in that was going to happen, and then somebody else points out to me, opening credits, her name's right there. And like, oh, well, I don't watch the credits.
Whoa, I didn't notice that
man.
either. Yeah, come on. Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Red flags!